What's up, all you scallywaggers and scumbaggers? This is Erico Blueberry, an unassuming Destiny podcast. It's been a few weeks, but we'll get to that. My name is chillybin.
Hello, it's Meckii.
Let's see. When we last checked in, it was like maybe week 1 or 2 of Festival of the Lost. Then I think you got sick the week after, or you were busy with something. And then the week after that, me and a couple of other homies came up to Brisbane, and then we spent that weekend hanging out. And then what happened is I came back from that weekend. I and you both tested positive for COVID like 2 days after that weekend. And now we're, a week and a half after that. We're now recording again. So it's probably been like a month.
Almost a month, like 3.5 weeks almost.
Yeah, so there's a bit to catch up on. I feel mostly fine for the record. I have this like lingering congestion, just a little bit, which is what usually happens when I get any kind of like cold or head-based illness. So I sound worse than I feel.
Yeah.
At least how I'm hearing myself in my headphones.
Yeah, I think we're both sounding a little bit crusty.
Yeah, but that's fine.
We're both a little bit crusty and dusty.
It's end of season. It's kind of a grab bag anyway. We're just going to vibe this one out. So I don't know where to start. Let's think. Where were we? We're Festival of the Lost. Let's wrap that up. You and I both got and gilded Ghost Rider, right?
Yeah, I think within the same 24 hours of each other.
Yeah, it's funny. Like we've got Charlemagne, the Warmind Discord bot in our server, and like there was probably like this one weekend where everyone was just the notification for people getting and gilding seals was just popping off like for 2 or 3 days straight. Because it was like about that time we'd had 2 or 3 weeks with Festival of the Lost, and everyone was ticking all the boxes and earning scallywag and all of that. So yeah, I wasn't intending to guild Ghost Rider. Like I was trying to just make sure I get it so that I can eventually get Revler when the other two come around. And then I just got close enough that I was like, I'll just do a little bit more. Let's get a few more. Do a few more sectors.
Yeah. I'd accidentally worked it in a way that I gilded and achieved it at the same time.
Oh, because you could earn the gilded ones early, right?
I'd accidentally done all the gilded triumphs, and then I think it was literally I just had to do one lost sector without dying. Like there was just Nessus, I think it was. Yeah. Without dying. And I did that with blueberries. So like I did keep dying because, sometimes you just get too deep in the sauce trying to help blueberries do stuff, then you just get fucking murked.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to do the thing where you
especially on Nessus with the exploding shanks.
Yeah, but if you're trying to do the thing where you were like getting all of the headless ones, which initially was like 15, and then I think they reduced that a little bit. That originally meant you basically had to start soloing the headless ones, and that can be challenging if you're, not built for that kind of survivability. But yeah, I think when I earned Ghost Rider, I had maybe 2 out of the 4 gilded ones done.
Yeah.
But I was pretty close to the other ones just because of how many of them I'd done by that point. So oops, another gilded title.
Oop.
But no, it's a good fun event. It always is. Good spooky vibes. Fun times with grandma. More candy.
Silly little spooky time.
That's it.
Like, it's just a good little goofy time. You get goofy ghosts, goofy sparrows, goofy outfits.
You get the little spider legs. Yeah, it's cool. I like it.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I think I'm still using my paper mache, Black Widow spider.
Oh, right, that.
No, the spider. Yeah. No, I did that thing where I went into Gambit and I was like, why am I only 1350 and forgot to change off my paper mache mask.
Did you never like boost that up to your actual level?
No, I just did shit.
Because I know I'm gonna run everything with that mask on for that 3 weeks. So I always bring it up to level and masterwork it so I can put all the armor mods in it and like not fuck my builds up.
See, during Lost, I just run the event more or less, or like if I need extra spectral pages, I'll go and do a strike, which are all low level now anyway for us.
Yeah.
And, like, never really played Gambit. I think it was Mayhem week the first week as well. So it was
definitely
it didn't matter.
There. Yeah.
It didn't matter. Like, just like I'll go do that for because we were farming Mayhem for spectral pages one night.
And also it's just Mayhem. It's a good time.
Yeah. It's Meckii.
Yeah. So yeah, Ghost Rider, and then we've both earned Scallywag.
Yes, the changes they made to achieving it, the changes went live, and then I think that channel in our Discord server just went ding, 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 ding. A bunch of people
basically auto-procced it because they were already above the new threshold, but behind the old one.
Yeah, so for me, it was the reputation. That was the last thing I had to do. I got my third frame pattern. That's it.
Yeah.
My third pattern. I've been playing Call of Duty, so now I'm thinking in frames.
Yeah.
My third pattern, and I was just trying to unlock the reputation to go upgrade at the star chart.
Yeah.
And I'd had 14. I was working towards getting my 15th reputation medal.
Yeah.
Like trying to do that weekly challenge to get that off. And then they changed it, and like as I was grinding out that fucking weekly challenge, it went off, and I was in the Discord server like, when did I do this? Because I didn't read that twab. I didn't know what was happening.
I think there was a couple of people that were like, wait, I didn't do this. It's like, yeah, well, they reduced a bunch of the requirements.
Yeah, and for me and a couple other people in the server, it was just trying to get that reputation.
Well, it wasn't even the reputation. Like, the things you needed to unlock the upgrades were also tied to seasonal challenges. Like, you had to get those little tokens off those, and some of those were, like, kind of annoying.
Yeah, like deposit 150 treasures, but then also
don't do that because you need to summon the ruffians. So slow down on the treasure.
Get 15 ruffians. So it's like you had to toss up between like, okay, well, this expedition, am I going to farm treasures, or this expedition, am I going to farm ruffians? Like you had to each run, you had to be like, what am I prioritizing?
So here's the funny thing.
I was going to say, if you do it with blueberries, sometimes you're forced to prioritize something.
I'm going to throw treasures off this map. The funny thing for me was I earned Scallywag the day before that twab came out. So I did 50 ruffians. I did the full 21 upgrades. I did it the hard way.
Like some bitch.
Yeah. And we'll get to this in a bit, but I had a bit of extra time to play Destiny in the last couple of weeks on account of being sick as hell. But yeah, I think it's good that they've pulled those requirements down a peg, and they said as much. Like they were looking at data in terms of like when people typically unlock the seasonal title in terms of like number of weeks into a season and how people were progressing towards this one, and it was a bit behind enough so that they were like, oh yeah, this is actually kind of hard. Like they knew the ruffians thing was a problem from week 1 because people were going too fast through the activity and not spawning them. And so they just reduced it down to 10 instead of 50. And by then pretty much everyone had done 10. But yeah, it's you know, it's part of how they learn in developing and delivering a live service game.
Yeah. And I think we've had this conversation before too, where like I think some people just need to acknowledge that the Destiny community is a lot older in terms of average age and point of life.
And amount of time they can commit, you mean?
Other communities. Yeah. Like everyone I know who's super into Destiny across multiple different, like I'm part of multiple different communities, you know, of different age groups, and like recently got into the Call of Duty community. The people in those communities who still play Destiny or still into super Destiny, like super into Destiny as well as the other things that I've met them through, they're all 25 to 30, have kids, having kids, getting married, buying a house.
They're busy with all sorts of shit.
Yeah, just like the average age of that community is older, and not all of us are fortunate enough to have the kind of employment or have the kind of lifestyle where we can spend 8 fucking hours a day playing Destiny.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can only play Destiny while I'm waiting for dinner to cook. Yeah. Maybe I'll throw something in the oven. That gives me 45 minutes to do 3 strikes. Yeah. Like, my weekends are for Destiny, but then sometimes, like, for example, because I've been sick, I'm not going to be able to play much Destiny this weekend because I got to get back on top of my housework and my chores because I've been sick. My house has gotten out of control. Like,
yeah.
Sometimes things aren't realistic. Just because it's realistic for you doesn't mean it's realistic for other people.
Yeah.
You silly goose.
And I think that's kind of, there's different levels, like to investing time into a game like Destiny. Like, yes, there's all the different ways you can play it. Like, you can do PvE, PvP, whatever. But even within those, there's levels, right? Like within PvP, like we could just play Mayhem. We could do our 3 matches a week. We could do a little bit here and there. I'm not really fucking around with trials. I'll do some Iron Banner when it comes around, but I didn't last season because Rift was a pain in the ass, right? And that's fine. But then when it comes to PvE, that's where I choose to put the time I have available. And I'll do dungeons with groups. I'm starting to experiment with solo dungeon runs. But even then, that requires a certain amount of time investment that I don't need to make and I'm comfortable not making. The seasonal seals and, you know, those triumphs associated with it, I look at those as like, if I just play a normal amount for me of Destiny across a whole season, I'll probably end up with this title. I might have to like, you know, tweak a little bit here and there to like knock off some challenges, but those to me I look at as, if I just play the way I usually do within the course of a season, I'll just get this. And I was starting to feel in the last few weeks that like, oh, this one is actually feeling a bit harder to get. And I'm having to go out of my way to farm ruffians in particular, or to like try and get all those upgrades on the thing. So yeah, like as someone who usually gets seasonal titles and has the physical pins to fucking show for it, like I have my own anecdotal data of like, yeah, this one was harder than they have been.
Yeah, it definitely felt more tedious.
Yeah. Well, not just tedious, but like there were issues in the encounters themselves that were making it harder, specifically with the ruffians.
Yeah, that ruffian one almost, I know a lot of people across the board that it forced them to play with their clan more, or force them to find a group of people to play, because like in some instances when you're running with blueberries, there was just no way to proc those ruffians, because those bloobs are in it just to get their 5 expeditions for the week done to get their pinnacle.
Yeah, and for the first few weeks no one realized what was happening.
Yeah, or they're doing the treasure depositing seasonal bounty, or the treasure depositing triumph. So they're blasting treasures into the cart, not really caring on whether like they proc a ruffian or not, because they're either not focusing on that triumph or they've already done it.
Yeah.
So for us to get a lot of it done, I know you, Alex, and I had to run expeditions together.
Yeah.
And farm those ruffians.
Yeah.
Like basically force a double ruffian encounter in most encounters.
You say force, like there was also no predictability to it. Like you get what, two encounters within a run before the boss. Those are where the ruffians can spawn. You might get 1 or 2, and there's no way of knowing which it's going to be.
Yeah, and there were instances for us too where we'd kill a ruffian and then another one would instantly proc.
Yeah. Or we'd kill one,
or we'd have to wait 5 minutes for another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really strange.
We'd wait around for that second one that never came, and then we're like, well, we've just fucking wasted 5 or 10 minutes waiting for this thing to come through.
Like we'd fill the cart 30% and then just
wait.
Kill ads until the ads stop spawning. We're like, well, I guess the second one isn't spawning in this encounter, so move to the next section.
And that to me feels at odds with the way those activities are designed, right? That's why it feels more like a bug or an issue with how it was built or designed, rather than this actually being how it was supposed to work.
Yeah. But I mean, they can take that data, and the next season, if they have something similar to the ruffian system or a random encounter system like that, they know what not to do.
Yeah, because
they know what benefits the community and what doesn't benefit the community.
What was last season's activity? Because we had the
yeah.
containment stuff for Season of the Haunted. Was that last season?
Feels like it, yeah, right?
Because what was the other?
Yes, because
what was the other super intense one?
We're coming off the back of Season of the Haunted, and they're giving us a silly season because of the intensity of that one.
No, but there were two really intense ones.
Nightmare Containment.
Yeah, that was Haunted.
And then
Risen.
The story one, and then
what was Season of the Risen? Because that was the season before it, right?
I think so. Yeah. Was it it was the thing in the Dreaming City?
Dreaming City?
Yeah, because...
Why can't we remember this?
Let's have a look.
I'm just trying to think of like whether or not they had something like the Ruffians mechanic in them. I don't think so. The only issue I remember with Nightmare Containment was the amount of RNG just in terms of like when things would spawn that you needed for triumphs.
Synaptic Spear.
Oh yeah.
And the Psyops Battlegrounds.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what I was thinking of. Was the
yes, I know what you mean now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they didn't really have something. They didn't have mechanics like Ruffians in either of those.
Yeah.
Like I think it's a good mechanic. Like let's introduce a champion as a circuit breaker that you need to deal with before you can continue. And they do a similar thing with jammers with overloads coming in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like the timing around the spawn triggers, and that was
needs to be adjusted if they decide to do something like that again. Yeah.
But anyway, we got Scallywag. We got our 50/10 Ruffians and everything else.
Our 50, 10, 5, 4.
Yes.
I feel like every time they're like, hey, guess what? Less Ruffians. So we're like, okay.
Yeah. Well, they came out and said like, hey, it's broken. Here's some things you can do to stop that from happening. We can't really fix it, but you can work around it. And then it was like, actually, yeah, this is still too hard.
Yeah.
And then...
stuff like that happens.
Yeah. And then I got sick with COVID. And then Iron Banner came back around, which was rather fortuitous timing. Because I had...
half the fire team ended up in Brisbane.
Yeah. And I... well, no, Iron Banner was the week after we came back.
Yeah.
But I had a bit of a ways to go if I was going to get Iron Lord, because I... played a bit the first time it came around, but I just didn't have time that week. So I still had to do like 2 full IB rank resets, and like a bunch of the like challenges and stuff like that. But shout out to me getting COVID, because it meant that I had enough time off work to just basically mainline Iron Banner until I got the title. Yeah, it was rough.
Ayo, shout out to SARS.
Basically. So that's cool. Like I like the term, I like the title Iron Lord, and I wanted to get it.
Yeah, it's dope as hell.
I was never going to get it last season because I hated Rift as the Iron Banner mode. I think it's good as a rotator, which is where it's going to live now, but having 2 weeks of Iron Banner and having both of them be Rift in a single season, I was like, this sucks. I'm not playing Iron Banner.
No, thank you.
But Eruption was pretty fun.
Not really an Iron Banner person. I mean, last week I got a bunch of the triumphs done for the seal, but never quite crossed that line. And you know what? Not too upset about it.
Yeah. It was another one of those things of like, I was looking at it, I was like, I'm close enough. I've only got like a couple of triumphs left. One of them being 0 out of 2 rank resets. But I was already
the most tedious.
Yeah, I was already halfway through the first one anyway. And then when you do the 4 daily challenges and wear all the gear and put the emblem on, it gets you up to like 11 times multiplier for the ranks, the points you get every match.
Yeah.
So that helps. Still pretty brutal.
Yeah.
I almost reset my Crucible rank twice in the process.
I could see everyone who was chasing the title. I could see y'all talking in the Destiny channel, and I was like, I'm just here, I'm just playing IB while it's here.
But I was basically just like Destiny on the main monitor, Iron Banner basically all day. Second monitor, I'm like just got an IV drip of The Simpsons just running the whole time as well.
Yeah,
just catching up on podcasts and videos that I've missed, and I was barely looking at Iron Banner. Then every now and then I would pop off and get a bunch of kills, and that would feel cool. But
yeah, I think my biggest streak during the week was 6.
Yeah, I think I got up to 9 because I was running my normal Arc Titan build, Fist of Havoc, the Heart of Inmost Light. So just like flinging grenades and shit all over the place. My favorite trick was the like mini Thunder Crash into unpowered melee kill, because that mini Thunder Crash is usually enough to like get them almost dead, but also push them back. But they're still within lunge distance for the unpowered melee. So just like do that into a group of 2 or 3, and they're just like punch, 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 kill the other ones. And then if where I got to like a streak of 9 was I did one of those and then popped my super and went and like found a bunch more of them. But I was also running Symmetry again, the Arc Scout Exotic, which fires full auto, and when you proc its effect, it like you build up charge, and then you enable it, and they turn into seeking slower firing shots that do damage commensurate with the amount of stacks you've built up from precision hits. So that was kind of fun, just like slinging these little tracker darts all over the map.
My usual purple and green.
That's it. And then
especially with warlocks having like the seeker long distance melees.
Yeah.
You just send either an arc or a void melee into a group of people, and you've got necros on, and that necrotic just pops out as they pop out, and then just osteo or thorn, just to double down on that necrotic poison. Yes. So like even if they back off or they retreat, they're still getting damaged, and it's just like sometimes
I was getting messed up by Le Monarch.
Yeah, sometimes people would like pop me and I'd be dead, and then I would just see them in the distance die, and I'm like, and their name like pop up. I'm like,
I'm gonna get those points. Yes, good.
And then the vortex grenade in Void is really good for sucking people in doorways. Like you can see them funneling through.
In doorways.
Suck people in doorways. You can see people start to funnel through, and you just throw a grenade in there, and they just get pulled back in. You're like, bye.
Yeah.
See ya. See you, dickhead. Was using it to pull people off certain maps as well, if you could plant it on the side of like a floating island. That new like hive map.
Yeah.
Because they come down and around that hole on that stairwell. If you can plant one of those vortex grenades on the edge of one of those floating islands, it actually sucks people off the map. And if they're like a Titan, sometimes they can't recover. They're just like, they get sucked to the side of that island and just drop.
Just suck them right off.
Really really funny.
Ah, dear. And in other news, I'm now the biggest gamer boy. My Guardian Games medal fucking showed up.
You got like your video game boy medal.
Yeah, but like the middle bit that spins, it's very huge and stupid.
It's so goofy, but in all the best ways.
I can't wait for the stupid mug to show up.
It's just like, why?
Hang on. Let's see if I can put this on and not fuck up my headphones. What am I doing? Why is this so difficult? There we go. Although it's fully out of the shot. I'm not doing it. But yes. It's good and dumb and fun, and I love it.
I still think you should get it like mounted in a frame. Oh, you know how like
dude,
people
the case that it came in was intense. It's like this big, because like the seasonal pins and stuff, like they come in a box about that big, like a jewelry style case. But this was like twice the size of it. Had the Guardian Games colors and logos all over it. Yeah, they're putting in some work with the packaging. Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. So silly. I love it.
Yeah, it's like the where is it? Where are you? These ones.
Where you at?
So like the Witch Queen legendary campaign pin in like this different box, and it's like shiny and green.
It's so cool. I need to start collecting the pins.
And then the Vow of the Disciple one. I don't think I've shown you this one.
Yeah.
It's like the hexagonal one that they're doing for dungeons and shit now. It's very cool. It's very cool.
Yeah. I gotta start collecting the pins.
Oh, dude, don't, because the shipping is more than the cost of the pins. It's insane. Yeah. I don't know why I keep doing it. I've got a collection and now I need to keep it going.
I love the economy.
But the annoying thing, because they're pre-order items, you can't order them in the same order. You have to order them separately, so that's separate shipping. I fucking hate it.
That's the sacrifice.
It's a sacrifice I made for living in Australia, a place without guns. I'll take it. The freedom to not get shot. Safe
schooling, extra shipping. That's the handoff there.
You know what? I'll take it. I just don't like it.
Just not gonna be happy about it.
Yes. Okay, so that's titles and medals and things.
Yes.
What else is going on? We've got like 2 weeks, week and a half till the end of the season. I don't even know.
Yeah, we didn't really, not much story. They're doing that thing that they do that I love, and then they're doing it with the race that I arguably love the most in this game, which is the Elixni are getting an upgrade.
Yeah, they're getting like an extreme home makeover.
Yeah, like home makeover, the block, whatever comparison you want to run.
Move that bus.
So basically, Misrax and the Spider have teamed up and decided, hey, yo, this place looks like a bit of a shithole. Help us fix it up. And then the Spider being the Spider, just being like, I probably have enough. He's doing a Bezos. He's just like, I probably have enough wealth and resources to fix this place up myself, but I'm gonna let someone else do it and spend their money doing it. So we are collecting captain's coins.
Yes. Don't need to anymore.
And, we're collecting captain's coins, and then the captain's coins. So community-wise, it's not in an individual instance to each player; it's a community instance. And then we're investing them in things like fixing the stairs. They turned
giving them shelter. Basic shit.
They turned the big mech from Scourge. Is it?
No, it was like one of the spider tanks.
Like a brig. Yeah, like a brig or a spider tank. There's a crashed one. They decorated that one and turned it into, I think they said, a meeting place.
Yeah, it's like a town hall vibe where there's like a lectern up the front and benches.
And an open air school is another one they called it, which I thought was fun. Progressive schooling, I'm all about it. In the back corner, they fixed up some of the stuff. For some reason, it's just a bunch of junk.
Yeah.
Them fixing it up was just adding more junk. I thought that was weird.
Yeah.
And their farms are growing now too.
Yeah.
They're growing corn.
Yes.
It's got the juice.
I've heard. I've heard about the juice. They did also do something that I thought was kind of neat, and they didn't really talk about it. So there's a Captain Coin, yes, but on the second page of that, you can donate like resources that you're not using. You can donate treasure, coordinates, and a couple of other resources. And I was like, oh, you're telling me I can donate 900 and something of these like ether tanks or whatever, and that counts the same as the coins do, which is good.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole track of things you can unlock, like a ghost shell and stuff. And the most expensive one was like 2,400 that you personally have to put in.
Yeah, I think I donated like helium cores, and then the data tree kind of looking
lattice,
shit,
whatever the fuck.
Yeah, and then something else. So I ended up doing a lot of that and donating coordinates and map fragments and stuff, because like I don't really run Expedition or Ket Crash unless it's
if I was going to, I know where to get them.
Yeah.
Whereas the planetary materials, it's like you run through the season pass, you hit about 6 different points where it gives you 50 of each. It's like, I'll get more of these. It's fine.
Yeah. Even then, like, in strikes and fucking...
Oh, yeah, you just get them.
They just drop. So that was super handy. I felt useful.
Yeah.
Just donating a bunch of the shit that I don't touch in my inventory ever.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the top... There was 7 stages of the community goal of donating captain's coins. And each of those stages was the different improvements being unlocked in the Elixir quarter. The top one was 400 million.
Yeah, and I think Bungie said something recently on Twitter. I'd have to find it, but they said something like, we got the community event done in 3 days.
Yeah, do you know why?
They were like, wow, you guys got that done a lot quicker than we thought you would. So community event, more or less, already finished.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Do you know why that happened though? I saw this on Twitter the other day. I think people had discovered a bit of an exploit for getting them very quickly, which was some janky part of how the treasure map works, where you put in the rumored map, and that gets you more coordinates, and you put them in, and it was the cycle that you could just do without going anywhere, and it takes about 10 minutes to max out your 2,400 submissions.
So, you know what? I'm not mad about that. That's the kind of farming that I'm not mad about. That's just silly.
I think I saw
that someone discovered that.
I saw a graph which was tracking the community donation progression, and then there's a point where people discover this and it just goes boink. It's so good.
That's the kind of goofy shit I love the community for.
Yeah.
That's an exploit that I'm not mad about.
Yeah,
that's just funny.
Cool, you unlock some cosmetic items, go off, I guess.
Yeah, it's so inconsequential, that they found that exploit. It's not giving anyone any sort of advantage. No. It's not wall breaking.
No,
it's not. It's just silly.
And then I think I saw people being like, okay, new unofficial goal is 1 billion, and then I'm pretty sure we've hit that by now.
Yeah.
Just.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. These captain's coins are just so easy to get while you're trying to get pinnacle stuff anyway.
Well, yeah, because they get.
I got a shitload of them just doing my weeklies.
Well, yeah, because the first thing you get out of it is an emblem that boosts the number you get out of ritual activities.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna do a strike and get 20 of them or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, I've got to get my my crucible pinnacle.
Yeah.
All right, easy.
Actually,
I just got 75 coins doing nothing.
Yeah, speaking of pinnacles, I need one more pinnacle to get to 1580 gear, and it's killing me.
I haven't even been looking at that.
But because the thing is, I know we're a week and a half out from a new season, and then it's going to be 10 higher again. I've just got to do it all over.
I'm 1593.
Yeah, but what's your just gear score?
1578.
Yeah. That's not worth it, but I'm at 1579 and 7 out of 8.
Yeah.
So it's right there.
It's one of those things too, because I have made it almost like a habit to log on and do my pinnacles.
Yeah.
In an evening after work, especially when I work from home, I can just wheel my chair from that desk to this desk.
Yeah.
That I'm probably going to hit level or almost hit level either way, just organically through doing stuff, and then playing with you guys when you guys are like, "Hey, we're bored, want to play Gambit?"
Or want to do a dungeon, and then you
want to do a dungeon.
Every encounter is a pinnacle.
Want to do a fucking 20-minute DSC run,
20 minutes would be pushing it.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? That kind of shit just naturally bulks you up anyway.
Yeah.
So leveling for me has become less of a grind. It's almost thoughtless now. It was just a matter of instilling good habits, getting my weekly pinnacles and.
Yeah, little off topic. Still Destiny though. Here's how much time I had available when I was sick. I cleaned my vault.
Ew, you must have been really unwell.
No, so I went and watched, there was a video, so Dado does his vault cleaning thing with streamers. He did one with Mylan Games, which was very funny because Mylan was just being pure chaos of just trying to softly argue for keeping stuff and then immediately giving up and being like, no, I have this for this build. And he's like, did you ever make this build? He's like, no, delete it. And just
he'd like sit there and try and justify some of the trashiest rolls on stuff just to trigger Dado. I think he just purposely would be like, how about this roll? And you would see Dado's soul die a little bit. And he's like, why did you keep that?
It's
he's
very
like,
funny.
well.
So I watched that and then I was like, yeah, I should probably look at mine because I was sitting at like maybe 520 something out of 600. And I was like, I'll need to do this soon. It's now under 300, which I'm pretty happy with. Mostly because I went through and was like, hey, if I've got an exotic weapon that I'm not using that is still at 1350 power, I'll just delete that because you can pull those out of collections. If they had a kill tracker with a decent number on it, I would probably just keep those for memories more than anything. And then like duplicate guns, if they had shit rolls, I just deleted them. I don't know why I still had half of them.
Yeah, I've gotten into the habit of you go. Just the disappointment in your voice when you'd be like, hey, Meckii, do you have a bow? And me be like, yeah, sure. No, I broke it down.
Yeah.
So I've started actively going in and locking rolls that I really like.
Well, it's not so much.
And even if it means I've got 2 or 3 of the same gun or 2 of the same gun, it's like, well, this one's good for these reasons. Like I would take this one into a raid, for example.
Yeah.
Whereas this one's good for PvE. Or this one I found is really good for Gambit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to lock it. So I've been locking them and then like giving them nicknames and stuff on Dim so I know why I've locked it.
Yeah, but it's not so much like locking specific roles. For me, it was more, do I have one of each archetype, basically hitting checkboxes of like, if I need a void bow, do I have one? Not necessarily is it good, or like I wasn't going to the point of like, this is my void bow. I was like making sure I kind of had one of everything that I might need. For those kind of situations where it's like I need to say it's a season with unstoppable hand cannon and I want it to be void. Do I have a good void hand cannon? So trying to like hit those boxes as well as I was going through. But yeah, like I was only caring about rolls if I had duplicates of a weapon. Like if I only had one, I was like, I'll probably just keep this just in case I need this archetype. The hard part was armor. So I was like, okay, the easy question here is like, does the stats number start with a 5? Delete it. Like if it's in the 50s, it's garbage.
Yeah, that was how I approached breaking down my armor too. I was like, oh, if it's below 60, fuck it off.
Yeah, and as far the hard part though for me is exotic armor because you can't pull those from collections. So if I only had one of something, I would just keep it automatically. And then if I had duplicates, I would look at the stats and be like, okay, which number is higher, which distribution's better, whatever works there. And just kind of work through the whole vault that way. And yeah, got it down to, what am I at? 280 out of 600.
I'm at 176 out of 600.
You don't need to do shit for ages.
Yeah. And then even then it was like, I'm lazy. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a fuckload of blues in there. So I didn't even look at them. I was just like, bye.
Yeah.
And then I got a shitload of bright dust and shitload of glimmer. And I was just like, well, okay, cool.
Yeah. Shouldn't be keeping blues at this point.
Yeah, they just drop and I'm like, yeah, collect all from Dim. Like, I just do that where I'm like, put it all in my vault, I'll sort it out later.
Yeah. Yeah. I've definitely, like, in Dim, dragged stuff from the Postmaster to the vault, but if there's blues, I leave them in the Postmaster, and then in-game, I just go through and delete them.
Eaten. Yeah.
They're just shit. But yeah, that was a nice, like, fairly chill, but also fairly cathartic process of like, oh, I remember why I kept this. That didn't pan out. I'm deleting it. And there were a couple of cases where like perks got changed. So there's a couple of guns that I kept because they were good. Well, they were Gambit weapons that had Invader Tracker on them, which then got removed and replaced with a different perk. So the gun has no use to me.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was using them anytime I played Gambit just for like, it's an auto rifle with good range. I'm going to ping the invader and then switch out to a gun that will kill the invader at this range. And then everyone else on my team can see where they are. And that was like incredibly useful. And I don't know why they got rid of it. It was so good. Now it's some other, I think it's called like run and gun or gun and run.
Something like
But I don't even know what it does because I was like, it's not invader tracker. I want that.
Did you find yourself, I don't know, I'm a very emotional person, as the podcast knows, and
yes.
you know, judging my last Saturday, I'm a very emotional person. Did you find yourself when you were going through your vault being like, I remember getting this, or like, for me, I've got a gnawing hunger with Zen Moment and multi clip.
Yeah,
and it's not an amazing roll.
That's not a great roll, no.
But it's the same gnawing hunger I've had the entire time I've been playing.
Yeah.
That gnawing hunger that you see me use all the time is the same masterworked fucking gnawing hunger I've had since I first booted Destiny 2 back up.
Yeah, see, stuff like that I probably wouldn't trash.
I refuse to get rid of it. I use it all the time, and it triggers Alex every single time he sees it. He's like, is that garbage gnawing hunger? And I'm like, yes. It's masterworked. And he's like, why did you masterwork it? I'm like, because I love it.
If see, my gnawing hunger, I'm in the same boat, is the kill tracker is 9,500, but it's the good roll of Rampage Subsistence.
No, I got garbage roll.
No,
if
you dropped a better gnawing hunger, I would be making you delete that bullshit.
I probably have, and I've just deleted it.
Yeah, you probably have, because that's not a great one. But no, like there were some guns that like had kill trackers on them, but not super high numbers. And that to me is like, I've used it, I'll just keep it. Like, I'm not at a point where I need to make hard cuts. It's fine. I just had a lot of garbage in my vault that I needed to clean out. But it was nice to go through and be like, oh yeah, this gun, I remember this. I remember using it for like the season that it came out and using it a whole bunch and then putting it down again.
Mine is like, I've got an absolute garbage roll Sanguine Alchemy. I don't use Sanguine Alchemy.
That? Armor?
It's a chest piece for the Warlocks.
Yeah. That's right.
And it's the one that weapon kills while standing in any rift, pause the rift's countdown, extending its duration. Further kills maintain and extend the pause.
Yeah.
So that's like useless since they've made all those changes to the rifts, and now we've got all those additional aspects, and you've got other exotics that just are better in terms of chess pieces.
Yeah.
But I remember dropping it in our first Riven run. It just randomly dropped for me.
Yeah.
So now I have that soft spot for it, so I refuse to get rid of it, and it's a fucking 66.
66 is good.
Yeah, but like it's biased in recovery, which is whatever. It's not necessarily what I want.
Yeah.
Like, I focus more on resilience and intellect.
Anything above like a 64, 65 is pretty good.
But like just the biasing on the stats, it's not great for how I play.
Yeah, fair.
I need to bias more in resilience and intellect so that I can get my rifts up quickly, get my grenades up quickly, but also stay standing.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I play, especially when I play like my support solo warlock. I will bias hard into stats that help feed those overshield grenades back in.
The other thing to
remember,
feed
rift back in really
The other thing
quickly.
to remember though is like the stat points come from all 5 of your armor slots plus any aspects or fragments that give boosts or penalties.
So
having 66 stats is good if you can get those numbers elsewhere.
Yeah. So when I look at biasing in terms of where that total, what makes that total, when I look at the biasing, I consider all of that. But it's like, because I dropped it on our first Riven run.
Yeah. And
that was a really good run where we had a really good time, and like, I have fond memories of it. I have a hard time breaking that chess piece down. Never use it.
Yeah.
My harmony, the battle harmony or whatever it is, I kept that because I got it in my first run and it tilted you. Because you'd been running for a chess piece all day, and then I did it in my first lost sector, and you were like, get fucked, I hate you. And I was like, that's a funny memory, I'm going to keep this one.
Yes.
But like, why? It's not real.
Yeah, you don't even use it.
But then in my real life, I can be like, oh, I bought this dress for my best mate's wedding. It was a really good wedding. Bye. But a digital dress, I'm like, no. Good memories with friends keep forever.
Yes.
It's the time I wore the shirt and resourced someone. Like, I saved their life. Bye. Garbage, trash, clutter. Get rid of it.
My first aid training has expired, and so has this shirt.
I dropped helmet and did he must keep forever.
Yeah.
I've got my 2 Vexes. I don't need 2 Vexes, but because of the meme around me continuously dropping Vex Mythoclast,
you don't need
I
one.
keep them.
You could pull that shit out of collections.
No, but it's the first one I dropped.
Yeah, keep one.
And then the second one I dropped, and it tilted you, so I kept it.
Still tilts me. Are you kidding? Goddamn.
Oh, there's this fucking helmet I got where I was doing Lost Sectors and I thought I'd finally drop the helmet I wanted, but instead I dropped a fucking Nazarak Sin and fucking screamed into the mic.
Yes.
So I kept it.
Hey, whatever works for you. You got a small vault. You got plenty of room to fill with memories, apparently, not items.
I want Dardo to look at my vault and just listen to me justify why I've kept all these garbage rolls and just be like, tee-hee, memory, tee-hee.
Based on that one video I saw, he would probably be fine with it because he's like, look, if you want to keep stuff for sentimental reasons, I'm never going to fight you on that.
Yeah.
Which, fair enough. Good.
Fair enough.
It's my reason. Leave me alone.
Disney, good game with homies. Keep all the memories close. Keep the memes.
Yeah, that's it. What I want is like a separate vault that I put stuff in and I agree to never need or want to pull out again, and that can just be like a trophy case.
Yeah, like a hee hee hoo hoo vault where the hee hee hoo hoo factor is high.
I'm going to call it that. Bungie feature request. Can I have a hee hee ha ha hoo hoo vault?
The hee hee hoo hoo factor is high.
Can I tee it up with the boys in here?
I've got the you think you're big time cosmetic shader on my Xenophage because I put it on and one of our fire team during Gambit was like, what the fuck is wrong with your Xenophage, Meckii? He's like, that shit's hideous, what the fuck? And I'm like, I actually really like it. And we almost had an argument over like how fucking hideous this shader is. So I've kept it on.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, every time I pull the Xenophage out when we play Gambit, it tilts someone.
Good.
Good.
You should be tilting your own team at all times.
Yeah.
Huh. What else is happening in this dumb game?
They announced Game to Give yesterday morning for us.
You've read this. I barely looked at it because I missed the post.
Meckii getting emotionally involved in the community events and charity events, unheard of.
Me being still slightly brain fatigued and I missed the notification about this post about the charity event.
So, Bungie dropped their TWAB yesterday and it's a dedicated
wham.
Dedicated TWAB about Game to Give, which is a annual charity event. Super fun. So they're doing their usual stuff, which is, donation goals for individuals. So if you donate a certain amount, you get a cool emblem or a ghost shell or a sparrow or shaders this year, I think is one thing they've added.
I thought the shader was just a fundraising goal.
I think so. But there's multiple layers to the fundraising thing. So it's if you are a content creator who has signed up, so entries are open in that TWAB, there's a link to the sign-up document, and you hit certain donation goals in your community, that opens you up to receive in-game items to say, hey, my community and I raised $10,000, for example. And then there's individual ones. So if you as an individual donate 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100, and then I think 1,000.
Yeah. Right.
You get special in-game items, mostly emblems. Emblems are fun. Like I think it's a good way to make your stance known. It's a good way to advertise something to people if you want to. So in the year 2022, they updated us on some stuff that they were able to do with the money and the time that the community has donated. So one of them being providing humanitarian aid to the Ukraine and people impacted in the Ukraine. That was with their partnership with Direct Relief and International Rescue Committee. They kicked off I thought this was interesting. They kicked off a 5-year anti-racist graphics research grant with Yale.
Graphics research.
Yes. So basically this is a research grant, which is empowering communities and developers and just trying to make character creation and character design more accessible.
Yep.
And, you know, just generating virtual humans who are in these, and this is Yale's words, virtual humans who are based in biological underpinnings that accurately reflect all races and ethnicities.
Very good.
You know, and as we know through character creators and being in gaming, that like even games that are created in Japan and games that are created in China and Korea, the character creators are dramatically biased towards European features.
Yeah.
And it's quite often very hard for people of color to create a character in their own image, because like those features just aren't accessible. Or even with Sims level customization where you can make just hideous fucking monster creatures, you can't create a biracial black woman.
Yeah.
You can't create a biracial Asian person. You can't create a black person. You can't create someone who might be Southeast Asian, Mongolian, like different underpinnings and different types of racial features just aren't available.
I think like basically all games with rare exceptions cannot implement black hair correctly.
Yeah.
In a way that looks like true to life or representative of the way that it like moves and sits and looks and reflects light and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, well, like one of my best friends is a black man, and he says in a lot of games his options are dreadlocks and bald.
Yeah.
There isn't anything that accurately represents a 4C natural hairstyle.
Yeah.
Unless it being a big dramatic samurai Champloo fro.
Yeah.
He's like, there's no way. He's like, my hair doesn't sit in a fro because it's a 4C. It's a tight curl. I can't get hair like that, so I've got to either be bald or have dreadlocks.
Yeah.
He's like, and that feels racially loaded, just allowing people to only have dreadlocks or an afro.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that is a really good initiative, and I think even Bungie represents the shortcomings of their own character creator. You know, it is what it is, I suppose. It shouldn't be, but it is. On top of that, they've also launched their first international hospital in Germany into the Little Lights program.
Cool.
So that's now starting to bring larger hospitals into that program, which is great. Their partnership with Team Rubicon, who aid in disaster relief in regions affected by natural disasters, so hurricanes, flooding, tsunamis. They were able to assist Puerto Rico and Florida this year.
Sick.
Who were both devastated by a hurricane earlier in the year.
Yeah.
And their College Success Foundation created a scholarship and a mentorship program for youth on low socioeconomic backgrounds who are interested in STEAM, and the program supports students through their entire 4-year college career. So if you come from a low socioeconomic background, you have potential access to a scholarship that will pay your way through 4 years of college under a STEAM program. So that makes it accessible for a lot of people who previously might have interest in, what is it, science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics?
Yes.
STEAM?
Yeah. Which is basically everything, just about.
Yeah. Who previously might not have access to college because of the expense of it.
Yeah, good.
You know, a lot of people in colleges in the US have to hand off working full time or college when they leave high school.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
So you can register between November 22nd and December 5th. It looks like their registrations are open if you would like to, as a content creator, so streamer primarily, raise money for the programming. And they've got an official lifetime fundraising program called the Lightkeepers Guild.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you donate exclusively during the Game to Give time frame, which kicks off on December 6th, you can earn rewards starting at $500. And Lightkeepers Guild does not apply to that. So obviously go to the TWAB to find out more.
Yeah.
And go have a look at some of these fucking fantastic. The Core of the Nova emblem and small luminescent shader. Oh, so pretty.
Yeah. There's
so
no way I'm getting some of those that are like, hey, you need to fundraise $10,000. I'm not at that level. Sorry.
Yeah.
I might kick in some dollars here or there. Get myself
but like
a heart-shaped emblem or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. So $10 USD gets you the Arc Propellant program, which is in the Bungie Foundation color schemes, and it's the heart with the blue background.
Yes.
And then from there, the next tier is 25, then 60. $60 gets you an adorable inflated balloon style.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plushy
it looks like a little
kind
beach
of ghost.
Ball.
Yeah, he's like a little.
He's got a bow.
Plushy or like, yeah, he's cute. And then $100 USD gets you a very clean looking sparrow.
Yes. That I would never use because it's not always on time.
Yeah. It's not a spider.
Well, that too.
Yeah. And then just other ways you can contribute and you can win prizes or win codes for stuff is just by tuning into the content creators who will be streaming to raise money. And then using the hashtags and stuff when you're sharing their streams or sharing their content or even just talking about the initiative. Those kinds of things can get you rewards. That's pretty neat.
Good as.
I love shit like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Raise a bunch of money, give out some in-game items that really, I mean, aside from the time to like design them and put them in the game, cost them basically nothing to give out. But it's stuff people want. Case in point, me. I love shit like this.
Yeah.
Oops. Might go send them some money later.
Yeah, and it all and that's the thing too is they take the community fundraisers and they distribute that money into so many different pockets of gaming and gaming communities. Like, not only are they supporting terminally ill or chronically ill kids and helping their journey through treatment or journey through their hospital stays, palliative care, more enjoyable for them and their families, but then also they're raising the next generation of designers, engineers, scientists, mathematicians, doctors. Yeah. It's insane. It's so cool. And then on top of that, they are obviously helping with, disasters and disaster relief. I think that's pretty neat, and it's a lot more than most developers are doing.
Well, yeah, but also Bungie is at a certain size where they are able to pull this kind of resource in and do all of that with it. I think a lot of developers are too small to pull anything off this big, potentially, but certainly a lot of them that are bigger and could be doing more.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Activision, Blizzard, Microsoft, King, Zynga, whatever the fuck. See if that merger goes through. I fucking kind of hope not. Anyway, that's very cool.
It's very cool and very neat.
Yeah.
I love shit like this.
What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I've just yawned twice in the space of about a minute. I think we should probably wrap this one up so I can go get some coffee or something. Maybe get some lunch. Try to stay awake so I can edit this and get it out tomorrow. For you today, time is hard.
The paradox between content creation and content
Publish.
And then also consumption.
Yes. It's out today, depending on when you're listening to it or watching it. You know the drill. This isn't new. Speaking of things that aren't new, there's a like and a subscribe button under the video. If you're on an audio platform, go and rate and review it in whatever way makes sense for that. Tell a friend. We primarily post about this on Twitter. We might have to rethink that in the near future because that shit is bound to break any day.
Error code blueberry Tumblr.
I mean, that is probably not a bad shout.
Me reposting horny as fuck shit about Varix and then the occasional podcast announcement.
I feel like you are nailing our Venn diagram. I'm messing around on co-host to see how that one feels, but that's kind of hard to get into at the moment because they're scaling it responsibly.
Hive.
Don't go to Hive.
Yeah, no.
Do not join that website.
Twitter Lite.
Yeah, but it's built by like 2 people and they are not equipped to handle what's going on right now. There are some issues with the way that shit works. I'm not going to talk about this right now. I'm going to get out of here and get some food and some drink.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your patience. That's kind of it. We'll see you next time. I'm not going to say next week because who fucking knows at this point with us.
Sorry, we went and drank beer and watched live music and then got sick.
I mean, that's pretty much what happened for about 4 days. Anyway, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Love you, bye. Gotta build that parasocial relationship early.
Yes.